Okay, close your eyes for just a quick second. Seriously, do it. I want you to imagine the exact day that you die. Now, to be clear here, I don't mean picturing your funeral or all the people you'd leave behind. I want you to imagine just the exact moment when your consciousness completely disappears. All right, you can open your eyes now. I know, it's a pretty heavy thought experiment to kick off this explainer, but I want you to hold on to that exact feeling for a second and ask yourself something kind of strange. What is actually causing that pit in your stomach right now? Is it death itself that's so inherently scary? Or is it simply the fact that you possess the cognitive ability to imagine it happening? It's a subtle distinction, right? But it's a massive one. We literally spend our entire existence running from this concept, dreading it, and completely avoiding it in everyday conversation. All right, let's really dive into this. For thousands of years, humanity has firmly bought into one very simple, seemingly undeniable idea. We treat life and death as complete and total opposites. One begins, the other ends. One creates, the other destroys. I mean, it feels so obvious, right? So obvious that most of us literally never stop to question it. But what if this deeply ingrained belief is just entirely wrong? What if we've completely misunderstood one of the absolute most fundamental concepts of our entire existence?
Section 1. Nature's Recycling Program. The Cosmic Scale.
To really understand why this illusion exists, we need to look at what scientists, biologists, and philosophers have discovered when they zoom out, way, way out. Because when you truly look at how the universe operates at a macro level, you realize a stunning revelation. Absolutely nothing in nature truly ends. Everything, without exception, just transforms. It's like a giant cosmic puzzle where the pieces just keep getting rearranged. Nature has been operating this way for a staggering 14 billion years. Nature doesn't just create matter from scratch out of nowhere, and it definitely doesn't destroy it into nothingness. It recycles it over and over and over again. Think about this. The very oxygen you are breathing into your lungs right at this exact moment was once trapped inside ancient stars that exploded billions of years ago. The calcium fortifying your bones, forged in a massive supernova long before the Earth was even a speck of dust. Every single atom inside your body has belonged to countless other things: mountains, trees, dinosaurs, maybe even other human beings.
So, if matter never truly disappears, why are we so convinced that life does? Let's bring this massive cosmic scale right back down to the human body. As you sit here watching this explainer, right now, millions of your cells are dying, every single second. This process is called apoptosis, which is essentially programmed cell death. And here's the absolute kicker. If those millions of cells didn't die every single second, well, you would die. Your body actually survives precisely because parts of it are constantly disappearing.
And you see this pattern absolutely everywhere: birth, growth, decay, renewal. Entire forests burn to the ground, and just months later, entirely new forests emerge right from those ashes. Giant stars collapse, and those violent explosions create the very elements necessary for planets, oceans, and eventually, people like you and me. Nature doesn't move in straight lines with a definitive start and a definitive end. It moves in continuous loops. Death isn't the enemy of life, it's simply one chapter within life itself. Which brings us to Section 2. The evolutionary machine. So this brings up a pretty fascinating paradox. If nature never draws a sharp line between life and death, if nature doesn't actually view death as an end at all, why are we humans, as biological creatures, so fundamentally terrified of it? Why do we insist on drawing that sharp line in the sand? Well, neuroscience offers us a totally unexpected and, honestly, somewhat humbling answer. Your brain was simply not designed to philosophically understand death. It was designed to avoid it at absolutely all costs. Every single instinct you possess evolved for one very specific reason: to ensure your ancestors survived long enough to reproduce. Those early humans who just kind of ignored danger? Yeah, they didn't pass on their genes. Over millions of years, evolution built this extraordinary survival machine, your brain, that is entirely 100% obsessed with staying alive. That biological obsession is exactly why your heart races when you stumble near a steep ledge. It's why a sudden loud noise makes you physically jump out of your seat. It's why uncertainty breeds such deep, visceral anxiety. But here's the crucial thing you need to take away from this. Your fear of death isn't actually evidence that death itself is evil or bad or some terrifying void. It's just evidence that evolution worked. I mean, evolution doesn't care if your beliefs about death are factually true. It only cares if those beliefs keep you running away from the tiger.
which raises this incredible mind-bending possibility. Our primal terror of death might just be a massively successful biological illusion.
Let's move on to section 3, the symmetry of eternity. So if we strip away that biological illusion for a moment, where does that actually leave us? Let's slow things down a bit here and try to reconstruct our worldview. If death isn't a biological endpoint, how should we philosophically approach it? Well, we definitely aren't the first ones to ask this. More than 2,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher Epicurus proposed an idea that still deeply unsettles people to this day. He famously argued, when we exist, death is not present, and when death is present, we no longer exist. Now, at first glance, that might sound like a bit of a riddle, but really think about it. Have you ever been put under deep anesthesia for a surgery? There is no darkness. There are no dreams. You're fully awake 1 second, and the very next second, hours have passed. Death might literally be impossible to experience, simply because there is no conscious observer left around to witness it.
So I want you to really analyze the root of your anxiety for just a moment. If Epicurus is right and there is literally no you to experience death, what exactly is there to be afraid of? Are we actually afraid of the state of death? Or are we afraid of losing life? Let that sink in for a second, because those are two completely different things. Fearing the loss of your loved ones, your experiences, your joy, that is a fear of losing life. But the actual state of death itself, the complete absence of experience, is completely neutral. It's painless, it's nothing. The Roman philosopher Lucretius took this exact logic and pushed it even further, creating what is known as the symmetry argument. He asked a question so profoundly simple that it has echoed through the halls of philosophy for 2 whole millennia. It's a question about our perception of time and eternity, and honestly, it completely shifts how you view your place in the universe. Lucretius pointed out that for 13.8 billion years, the universe existed entirely without you. Think about that immense, incomprehensible stretch of time before you were even born. I'll ask you directly, did that disturb you? Did it hurt? Did you suffer during those 13.8 billion years? Of course not. You were perfectly at peace in non-existence. So why on earth should the eternity after your life be any different? Birth and death are not opposites. They are mirror images. They are absolutely identical states of non-existence, neatly surrounding this tiny, beautiful, incredibly brief flash of consciousness that we call life. The eternity before you arrived is exactly the same as the eternity after you leave, completely harmless. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a major paradigm shift. If nature only transforms and never truly ends, if your fear is just an evolutionary trick to keep you breathing, and if the eternities before and after you are exactly the same peaceful mirror image, well then death is not the enemy of life. It's the frame that gives the picture its meaning. And maybe, just maybe, the opposite of life isn't death. Maybe the true opposite of life is never living at all.